So here's our dashboard. I'm just a few things just before we start adding content to it. I think what I might do, I might actually add a bit of color to it, just a little bit of background color. So I'm going to click on that first shape. See, I've selected that first shape, Control, and then click the other shapes as well. On Mac, I believe it's Command, but it's a multiple, whatever it is on Mac to select multiple shapes or elements. I've selected it all. I'm just going to give it a sort of a really light fill. I don't want anything too imposing. Something like that. Yeah. What looks really nice is a dark, sort of dark blue, dark purple, like using one of these guys, or that one would be lovely. I think for the purposes of us generating the content, I'm just going to keep it light, and we can make those changes later. So there, just a light blue, a generic light blue color. So there we go. Another thing I'm going to do, while I've got that all selected, I'm going to right click and group. So what that does is, if I click on group, it then, well, it links those shapes together. So that dashboard is now effectively one area linked together. So there we go. So it means that instead of moving little bits around, they're glued together now, to all intents and purposes. So there we go. Now let's add some content to it. So we need to think about what areas we're going to do. So we're going to add more shapes. I'm going to insert some shapes, and then let's do what would be a nice shape to put in here. Rectangle, rounded corners. I think a rectangle, rounded corners, and then we're going to put in some shapes here. Our pivot charts are waiting for us to add, but I'm going to do deliveries. So that's what we've done for our pivot charts. It's based on deliveries and returns. Okay, so let's put that in there, and I'm going to there's a shape. I just added in a shape. Then I'm going to right click, and I'm going to add some text, and I'm just going to say deliveries. I know that might be a little bit difficult to see. Let's make that text a little bit bigger. So I'm going to click home and just increase the text size a little bit more, just so we could see that. Drag that in a little bit there, and there we have it. Yeah, and if I want to, you know, I could make it a sort of a similar sort of blue shape to that. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'll leave it as it is for the time being. We can make changes to these cosmetic, and the cosmetics are important, the aesthetics are important, but for the purpose of this demonstration, let's not get too bogged down with that. So deliveries, there's our first title, and then we want to bring our donuts in. All right, we want to bring in our donuts. So we know here that we've got, this is on time or delayed. Okay, and I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to bring it into the dashboard, and I'm just going to paste it there like that. So let's move it around. Okay, let's move it around, and I'm gonna bring that in a little bit. Actually, I've got quite a lot of space to play with there. Oops, let's not move the dashboard. Probably another good reason to put the dashboard in later, in case because you can accidentally just grab it. But yeah, okay, fair enough, John. You didn't think about that. Really, what I should have, when we get to the end of all, we can stabilize everything. But for the time being, let's just put this in here. So let's just play around with this. I'm going to take the fill out of it. So see, it looks like this. Listen, it's not perfect color coordination, but let's just stick with it. Now, we want to make this a little bit more dashboard-like. Okay, we want to make it look a little bit more dashboard. on dashboards you may have, you may have these data labels, but let's make it look a little bit less like Excel and make it more look like a little bit more professional. So I'm actually going to delete the data labels so we don't have them now. The thing is, we want an indication of the on-time deliveries. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another text box in there. Now before I do that, I'm going to go back to my donuts, and what I'm interested in is this figure here, this 67% figure. Now what you can do is a little trick that you can do normally, okay, is you can insert a text box, okay, a shape. Well, let's say text box actually. So where is it gone? Where are my text boxes gone? Oh, let's click away from that. Yeah, text box over there, right at the end. And then I'm going to drag it. For the time being, I'm just going to drag it to the side here, okay, just so we can play with it. So that's a text box. So it's useful in Excel when you want to just have a sort of a piece of content which isn't attached to specific cells. A little sort of a really useful function of a text box is we can equate the contents of the text box to a cell value. So I could say equals A1, and it'll whatever's in A1 it'll put in the cell. Now, in our case, what we want to do is we want to say, right, equals, and you don't do it in there. Where you do it is, I'll tell you what, I'll just make this a bit bigger because I know this probably looks quite small on your screen. So you click on there. Okay, now I can type things in here if I want to, but what I want to do is say, go to the formula bar, which is here, then click equals, and then I want to go back to my donut, and I'm interested in this value here, the on-time deliveries. So if we click on that, now in an ideal world I'd just press return. Doesn't like it. Okay, it does not like. You're not allowed to equate something in a text box to a sort of a calculated field like that. So we can't do that. So what we have to do is quite simple. If I just go to the side there, the value we're interested is in B2. In C2, let's just go back to there. Make sure I press escape and get out of it. Click equals B2, and then just press return. Simple as that. I'll then just turn that into percentage, and there we have it. Okay, then so the value in C2, we can then go here. All right, we can go here, and I can click on the text box and say equals, go back to donut, click there, and then press return, and that should work. Okay, so what we've got there is we've got a piece of text which is obviously it's connected, it's live linked, so that will change depending on the data. All right, so let's just do a little bit of formatting. I'm going to remove the fill and remove the outer shape format. We've removed the shape fill and removed the shape outline as well. Okay. Shape outline, no outline. Right, so I've just got this piece of text here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger as well. I'll make the text a little bit bigger, so I'm playing around with it. You know, you can make it bold if you want to. If you want to sort of go back there and undo that, grab that, I'm going to drag it down there. Okay, it's a little bit fiddly, as you can see. I have rehearsed this, but with the best will in the world, it is a little bit fiddly. And so up down here, it's quite small as well. I hope you can see that. And if I want to, I can change the text. What does white look like? Yeah, it doesn't look that good, does it? I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it as, could we put it as green or something like that? Can you see that? There we go. As I say, that's why dark backgrounds work really well in these kind of scenarios. But yeah, I'm going to leave it as black for the time, or automatic. No, let's go black. So there we go. So we've got that little sort of percentage in there. And then we can add in another text box, which just simply says something like on time. So it can be a text box or a shape. I'm going to click on insert text box. And then I'm just going to put in on time. I realise this looks a little bit small. Let's make it bold. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Or we could actually, I could do Format Painter, see if that works. Yeah, okay. Possibly a little bit big there. Let's bring that down. On time. All right. Okay, so we put in something that looks, a little bit like a dashboard thing. Okay. Now, how long have I been going on for? 11 minutes. All right. So you've got the idea there. That's how you do it. I just copied it across from there. We can do the same again with the other donut. All right. So I'm going to quickly do that now. Copy that. Bring it in. And paste it there. All right. I'm going to bring it around, make it sort of roughly the same size as the donut in place. And then I'm going to do a neat little trick that I showed you before. Click on that because I want to copy the same formatting there. Click copy and then right click and then paste here. All right, so it's worked. I still have to remove the data labels. Okay, I'll delete those. And then there we have it. So now what we can do the similar thing that we did with the with this. We're interested in the amount of non-returns we want. Oh, actually, okay. Let's look at returns. That might be more interesting if we're interested in that. Look at returns, perhaps. So you do equals this. Yeah, let's do that. And then change that to percentage. Great. And then we can do the same thing here by clicking on a text box and then moving it in here very fiddly like so, and then click on equals donut and then that area there, so C9, and then press return and it's in there. All right, and I can click on this Format Painter, drag that there like so, move that up, and then copy this as well because it's the format that we want. So I'm just going to copy that and then paste. All right, puts it up there. 10%. Change it to returned. Make that a little bit bigger so it is a little bit fiddly. All right. All right. So there we go. Now is our first bit of dashboard. All right. That is our dashboard, and it's just a copy of these guys, and I played around with them. Okay. Right. Now In the next video, I'll show you how to make them interactive. All right.